tickets, and they are here at Croke Park for this match. And as the Laois minor team get into a huddle to discuss last-minute tactics and preparations for their game, the president of the GAA, Jack Boothman, and his wife Nuala are about to be introduced to the crowd here. Well, indeed, for Jack Boothman, this will be, I suppose, something of a special day, because this is his last year in office as the president of the Gaelic Athletic Association, and this will be his last time officiating at Croke Park as the president. He is seeing today two Leinster teams in competition, in Laois and in Meath, and as a Leinster man, I'm sure that his heart will be with both of those. For the moment, though, let's go back to our match commentators, and Laois O'Shea will be joined in the commentary box for the minor match by Marty Morrissey.
Michael Estrans agus Vanna Kewell, Buchali Ardain, FT and Fort Gehoganton agus Ganel Roadwheel, Christopher Toes, Leshan Gluhe Canish, Gewil, Minur Leash, Gahoide, et no Leshik Lohista, Lesh the Blianta Pada, agus Miana Gree, a Giat Crave, a Hoot, Low, Goody Leash, that no Kerry and Son, Agus Nidolgas Goodish at any Rovoglo, Bernard O'Connor and Son, Colcahar, the British McGarrett, Oiv Rahoch, Agus Lashdigda, Garrett Clifford, Matle Gary Clifford, Gimmick Winner Lee the Field, Agus if you give it like Kerry's, the Shaskady, Agus Big Shea the Gibbert in Night Naguihe, Sekiagla, Agus a cool Knock Shadiag, Ochos and Jacogus Lochtakich the Leash, Agus Lochtakich the Me, and the Rainer Fad on Son Eric Nook, Agus Kerry, Agus a Leash and Fadlord Parkinson, Noel Garvin, O Naib Joseph, Eshu, the Anna Vassanair, Agus Anna Chlohige, and Nig Loch Garman, Agus Dimmer Sheshu, Pell, Agus Amoint, Fui Ish, Le Leash, Agus on no round no Firinod and Son, on the Leash, Agus yet such a she's, Edit Welle, Honardan, Hull, Edit Evalenson, Agus Marvisara, Berstelle, or Fort Leash, and Master none of the hair, Dermot Mullins, Agus Tam Mulligan, Agus on Maltoid and Son. Ryan White, FT, Toes, the Hurley, Cohe Canish, Minois, the Hayden, the Lane, Medic the Hashagas, on Spoor, a Balustack, Edinburgh, and Sugus, Bishar Audits, Canamus, Gamashella Hammer, Gameg, a Night, Long Gama, Aberdeen Bergriho, have the lobby dish, have the lobby clay, and the Hidiana Tanib, and Hat Catanor, the Toes Correlation, Cohe Canish, Noel Garvin, the Leash, left forward the Gree, Bull, the kind of Stackedy, Brian McDonald, and a happy Farsa, Kubli and the Diagdish, and Farazo get a boy. Brian McDonald, and Derek Schliegen of the Hen, Schliegen to go Hen, and Hyde Wood to go to Traston Holig, Agus, Sticks a car, Noigan son, be Kevin Fitzpatrick, Martin, Serkik, Evegown the Kerry. Agus and Cool Boydie, Kenneth O'Keefe, Jaharle, Declan O'Keefe, we gimmer Cleshinchir Kerry, Nis Tushkim Leana. Emol the car noige big as nearly counts on Bulterova again. Old Delaney, Agus Kalish Dented, Serkik, Old Hain, Stachat Joe the car noige as Kaunana Holtorach and Cool Boy Stick as Amy Hawagas, Anna Hawaii Fan, Denta, Stick and Son, Edeline, Yaulish, again Kenneth Lean, Agus Morachoes, Kintigamech and Hatchin, Stick Celine Town. Chance to get Leash and he'd score a high show, and he'd score on Son Cole again Leash, when Marty, an unexpected score for Laois.
Absolutely. Well, certainly Laois are the team that have settled very quickly. Noel Garvin with a fine point. But certainly Kenneth O'Keefe, the Kerry goalkeeper, had a very lucky escape because he really did misjudge the ball. And Laois, I think, will be happy with just the point. You can watch it here now. A fine ball that dropped in all the way in to the back of the net. Well, that is a surprise.
Martian Cole and Son again, Noel Garvin, the Laois, and Tasachavi Voha, Agus Shahun, John Shokro, the Kerry, Agus Emihe Anon, Enish, Goody, Ian Twist, Count More Orders, John the Carnoy, Agus, and Getsgo, Colleen the Kerry, Ian Twist.
Well, it's a dramatic start, Micheál, because certainly the flight of that ball fooled me in the sunshine as well, and it certainly fooled Kenneth O'Keefe, who has had an uneasy start between the goalposts for Kerry.
Marsin Hawlín idir na fórne agus anna hól fachtig Noel Garvin an son the Laois agus ní bheith Kenneth O'Keefe ro hostar fadne se Ganson. Wilta machgadi Law Park agus an son the Noel Garvin agus Berto Kerry le chéile agus an Multoid chynne chaidecha have an orde.
It should be said, Micheál, indeed, that Kenneth O'Keefe, the Kerry goalkeeper, and the Kerry defence are facing quite a blinding sun, because I was down there at the Hill 16 end earlier, and it is very difficult, and it's noticeable that Kenneth is not wearing a cap in this first half.
Shahe Martin Buggy agus a Yachlish Garrett Clifford agus Kicktave Line Evegaun the Kerry agus Liam Murphy a Hokigan Council O'Keefe Gwille ag immer tonight na Gui Hall Lauder do hin it so sa Kiedla Stach a drone hole road at him na lobby clay Shachron. Charlie Nelligan and son Vichs the hole agus the Kerry agus dog with Cheryl Hostel is a Ganson Mehistach gan Chine and I Kerry. Anna Watson Iron Son, Liam Murphy, Anna Philadoid, Horkastig, Michael D. Cahill, Agus Serkik, Gnohe, Michael D. Oh, Fobble Skull, Norohamoide, Agus Noel Kennelly, Mackley Tim, Edirik, and Tarna Coolin, I'm sure the Kerry. Lenakatoig as Colleen Evidago. Marsin, needed in the Hodna in Colleen Avoin.
When we were down during the summer doing a preview for the sports stadium, Gaelic Stadium, Dara O'Canada was practicing freeze, and this man was stood between the posts, and he showed me on that afternoon that he's a player of tremendous potential. This is Noel Kennelly, son of the great Tim Kennelly, of course, who played number 6 for Kerry right during their golden years.
Robert Darby, Agus and Council, Builting a Mahaga, a Mahajo Law Park, Martin Delaney, Mish Quinto Hoffach, again Bernard O'Connor, Winter Stachagashin, Goody, Garrett Clifford, Stach John Hole, and some chance to get Ian Twist, against Colleen and Ian Twist. Martin, the Fordne, and Coast Goal.
It's interesting that Ian Twist is causing so many problems in the early stages, because certainly 2 fine points. Up to now, he's only scored 2 points in the championship, and in the All-Ireland football final, he scored 2 points.
Well, Hannes Stachmar on the Dean, if she gamer to Lord Hernach, a she William Harman, the V gamer, Ian Stigenish, and a Shahun, Noel Garvin, Wall in the Kaidish Stach, Chris Conway, as Kalish Delta, and Chris Conway, Marshall Serkik, the Hotel Leisha. Agus Stephen Kelly is Cosúil, a Hokigan Council, Gimmer Celine Lachúil, Heb na Lábig Clay. Dimmer Sheshu, the Grave of Huntae, Zaplahi Canish, and Lydig, Elish, Stephen Lenachitoig, Gordon Guihiga, Wilta Guhisha Lapach, Agus Nimuna Sauce the Veshelishin, Agus attack the Mach, Ono Connell. Argoel Anachaderen, Bound, Buitige, 3 Ish, Obisha Hardley and Diag Dish, Nevlino Hinele, Mehama Harisha Devline, Agus Niall Collins, a Hokigan Council. Niall Collins, a Gimid House of Father, and Mike. Here Connell, Wiltige Mahega, Stahatson Agus again, Martin Delaney, and Vaishe Pole. Nearby, grow at it, have no live edition, Anna Hansen, son Marty, and Martin Delaney.
Well, I can say with certainty that this ball at least went wide, despite the sunshine. But Martin Delaney is well capable of scoring goals. He scored quite a memorable goal against Westmeath, which I saw here in Croke Park at the beginning of July. But he's a very dangerous midfielder in terms of going forward.
Agus Kalish Delta, a Mohalor Portke, John Shockrow. On Serkik Builtige, Agus Martin Buggy, Taftamach, Mehawig, Agus Anna Hopla Guala and son, Agus Shahir Colin Parkinson, Casho Gesha Destorach, and the Hoyde even saw him over, Agus Kalish Diantedige, Garrett Clifford, Guala Builted, Royanachage, Martin Serkik, the Laois agus the Noel Garvin.
It's quite a strong breeze as well, Micheál, now in this first half. It's a beautiful day here at Croke Park, but the breeze just a little bit in favour of Laois in this first half.
Agus é sin gafa go deas stig sa chuúnig Brian McDonald agus bhfuilte go maithiste an sanna choma Kevin Fitzpatrick i dhéar go chaide ceanú ach buinte go go cumasach an son ag Kenneth Lee nach de droíarach Niall Collins seansa ag siú an bhaid sé scór a mecht na ruha an dúra sé fé an pas agus Danny Dew dúna gas na crínaim sé hóidí sfearda bhfuil co léana chitóig agus buinte go deas an son agus Stephen Kelly ach roáda heb na lábh clé mar sin ní raibh le Stephen an bátasach. Agus seochuid Gabriel Lawler an son, painisteoid Laoise, hén Brian Delaney agus Oliver Phelan, na ránóidí, ach seohé Kenneth O'Keefe. Bhfuilte go Niall Collins, ach sáirithe ag John Shocktrú, haid nimmert go má, lá páirce a Kerry go dísa. Agus a mecht na ruha, Ian Twist. Agus a ríis, Serpic nóthe ag Ian Twist.
I think Laois are going to have to make a positional switch here in their full backline because Ian Twist is causing problems for Pádraig Langton. And I would not be surprised if David O'Hara would be switched, that's the number 4, switched over to the right corner back position in a matter of minutes.
Agus seohé Liam Murphy, finding Counsa a Hogant, the Kerry agus Beshe Dierig, and the Huntusig, then Giador Saflohan. Counsa builte go má agus tá Kerry Huntusig. Builte an son ag par Guinea Villa, orda mi road if in the Gimmertris na Sheenshire agus Anna Chadéden Graden builte ag seo the pobl scoil na Raha Moidi. Crave ile Aaron an Rig. Seohé Robert Darby on Stride Vile, Farana Lloyd. Mile Fion, agus fachta mo son ag Liam Murphy ag Gimmert go maithniuh sa chlucha canis. Marsin Crín Díirich a líne, Húgvedar agus dahad. Liam Murphy hénig a hócaigh an Counsa. Cawn anna ord bwyltige, ysdech son, a Joe Tenna live edition, Shachran.
Liam Murphy is the top scorer for Kerry in this championship campaign, a goal and 21 points. And himself and Gareth Clifford are the real danger men on this Kerry attack. So number 12, number 14, just keep an eye on.
Liam a gimmer leis na minúir, an udig chomaciana, ach sechuin, Robert Darby. Ime Harris Noel Garvin, John Shocktrú an son goí John Lynch. Agus seohé Ian Twist a ríis, de agus Calais dianta Ian Twist anna chadéireann, Serchicina á muchtant ag Ian Twist, agus é ábhríonn róbáda Pádraig Langton go díosa a réchama. Mar sin deisile ag Liam Murphy, ábhríonn beag, leistigh don lína chúgvéadar agus dahad agus timp le chúgvéadar isteach ón daobh líne. Sáirithe go deas an son ag Colin Parkinson, ach an chic an ordas an air agus a Joe an daobh líne.
Well, Laois started brightly in the first 5 or 6 minutes, but Kerry have slowly got into this match.
Mar sin éóma díag agus deisinis ag John Shocktrú ag Kerry chanéis a hé agus tá sé sin dianta ag John Shocktrú ag gimmert go má Partnerín orda agus ag gimmert a lá páirce mar go bhfuil Tommy Griffin ón angan gortathe ach anna hús at fad léanach a dimire ag John Shocktrú.
Good Kerry point, and certainly John Sugu, the midfielder, positioned himself well to take the score.
Robert Darby agus seohé Chris Conway, gimmert le minúr líis den Gio bliana sa chéile deachgadí Danny Dew. Ach imithigh siúd agus fachtan son ag Tomás O'Shea na Gaeltachta a teachtamach a bhfuil Calais dianta Neil Calais dianta go hénig a déidir multóid agus Kevin Fitzpatrick at son a dúirt na caide de Noel Garvin. Bhfuilte go tappaigh agus fachtaigh Brian McDonald an tógánach cúblianna diaagnaí sin bhaid sé siút Colleen. Anna scópá ganna bheith do héine a pas me himó. Fachta tuige Noel Kennelly há cosint a há 9 me bheith na tusathe ach é 5 méadar amach ó do chúb héin an Baltasan. Kenneto Keefe and Macha Joe Law Portke. Agus anna chóra go lára ort, fachtaige John Lynch, captain a fórna agus seohe, Ian Twisseríist agus Matt leis an adóg séite ag an Multóid agus Baltaváin eile Calais dianta Ian Twisseche. An Multóid a Lord Parkinson agus Tomás O'Shea na Gaeltachta a hócaig an Saorcaigse. Stecha Jonah Carnoge, Garrett Clifford, Anna Watson airige Garrett agus builte go dtí John Shockrú, seansar scór ige John ach a lagaíarach sára ige Robert Darby a machchansan go dtí Niall Collins agus Niall amachta ruachar Anna Glana Joan Tevline agus Tomás O'Shea machta go deasige Calais diantais Moss.
Moss O'Shea, younger brother of Dara O'Shea, is doing well at centre-back, but really Laois have lost their way, and I think this man knows exactly where they've lost their way around midfield.
Shohei John Shockrú, kick Canor, the Jonah Carnoige. Niall Collins, agus I buinte gothige Michael D. Cahill, fachtaige Garrett Clifford. Déanna gháranna steach go dtí Bernard O'Connor. Amy Hiwig siúd. Ian Twisseríist, an ón go dtí Garrett Clifford. Fachtaige Lon Foley, Martin Buggy, buinte go. Derek Conroy. Bhí sé mithimach aris a dé blina tá Bratan Orde ag an Moir, an immert leanún de raig ach tá Bratan Orde. Kick slasa a bheith ann de Kerry. Kick Tevline agus a sé Liam Murphy a hócaigh an Council. Count Dain Share a chanson agus well campus go riimi sin de riim a chúl báide achas cosúil ná riimig. Liam Murphy an son leis an gic Tevline bhfuilteige isteach Joan chúil agus imithimach de riim was na tosathe a dúirta Moir. A Lord Páirce a ríist agus Anna Gháil ar fad san air ach Shohei Laois meachtar an ónsaí Danny Dúg agus á dhéanann leis Michael McCarthy. Í Coravaras go deas go dtí Paul McCarthy, John Shockrú. Go dtí Noel Kennelly, Noel amachtar ruachar, Martin Delaney diaige stop. Noel séimlí an na diaagdaois agus Sohail Dreceall agus Anna Hansaige Martin inis. Martin agus é sin dianta go maithaige. Bhfuil tamach go dtí Noel Garvin, ceann mór fada, fachta go glótaige Kevin Fitzpatrick. Shohei Kevin, just nó go mór a fada, amach leis a chaí buinte ó. Joan Tevline agus John Shockrú, na riine Orde. Bhfuilte go maithe steachad sannaige. I ribh na tusathe, Abigail Baltason. Sa tacht amach go tréan, Oric Langton, na mithimhuig. Colin Parkinson a tacht a gaude. Agus na geauganíir ar dala Michael D. Cahill. Ach Shohei Colm amach leis go fóil. Anna ruachar aige Colm, ád ruachar, an bhaid sé scór inis. Colin Parkinson. Cuman a maithe said, ach a ned an way, a kick cúbéadar agus dahad gnáhéige.
Colin Parkinson is a great man going forward from wing back, but really it was good defending by Kerry that kept him at bay, but he should have distributed a little bit earlier.
Martin Deschig, Martin Delaney. And Garna Alidu, British Nahagigadi, Chris Conway. Shohei Chris, Lianaketoig. Kevin Fitzpatrick, I guess the Council Factor Gadasiga Kevin. agus buinte go maithe Kevin agus anna Pauline ag Kevin Fitzpatrick.
This is the man that scored the goal against Donegal in the All-Ireland Minor Football semi-final. But Laois just struggling to get a rhythm together. But I think this point by Kevin Fitzpatrick will settle them now, because certainly they've lost their way around midfield and are under pressure from their own half-forward line, not able to perform. Good point, though, here by Kevin Fitzpatrick.
Kenneth O'Keefe agus anna lasca I Joe Lord na Parke ach seo Stephen Kelly. An ón go dtí Derek Conroy. Agus é sin dianta go maith agus fachta go maith ag Pamor Finson. Ach sára le na chuis an son ag Noel Garvin. Noel a Derek Brian McDonald a heimsú. Ón O'Connell rómha agus anna chríos a leadógsa teachtamach go fólín. Córach leis, córach naid, Brian McDonald. Ina hema Harrisha de Blina, well, Sir Kick, agus fachtar is get Chris Conway, and stick the moth or she. Chris the Machter Rohar, Connie in Chris. Chris Lennox going, agus Chris Katrine.
Great score by Chris Conway. A goal in 19 points he scored on Laois's path to the All-Ireland final. First point in this game. But the point I was making earlier about the Laois half-forward line, Chris Conway epitomises that, because certainly he has not been in the game. He really was thinking about a goal here, decided against it just there, made an angle for himself and took his point. Good decision.
Kenneth O'Keefe a macha Joe Lord Portke, agus seo Niall Collins. Lech na himmeras a chlohile cheanna sé meachtar anna rúthar a ríist, fan a taobhlíne, anna happy. Spráile sé bheith meachtain cín. Snéad más ó sé na gailteachta, agus cadé mar gháil go dtí Noel Kennelly, Lennox Atóig, Garrett Clifford agus Michael D. Cahill leistigda, Ian Twist a lorach na caidid. Garrett da bhil an nádas an air agus í léanann san nach Colin Parkinson. A ríist Ian Twist ach canlaís dianta ag Ian an Balcasa ar Colin Parkinson. Johnson bhfuilte go maithe ní raibh Noel Garvin is nó leis a Johnson a dtíar agus Noel Kennelly gortathe an son ag Kevin Fitzpatrick bhuilead ar an aige chéile. Mar sin Serkic a bheith ann don géiríoch Noel ar a dalamh agus buile fachtan son aige ó Kevin Fitzpatrick. Seo hiad meachta Joe na caide agus Kevin Fitzpatrick me histeach anna sé anar fad an son isteach san aig ar Noel Kennelly. Noel agus chuid bheith cosanta diantaige chomá le bheith gimmart a meach na dusathe go dtíosa agus cosanta bhí sé an báltas an chomá nuair a déanach an chalaísir. Cór leis mar sin á chur ar Noel Kennelly agus an Multóid agus Charlie Nelligan agus siad imníoch an a hebh agus Claire Edwards a Stigenson cór leis a chur ag Claire ar Noel. Chluthe eilear fada hána ceansa nó chluthe naid na mí loch tacaíocht a bhío dar nó agus iad a súil go dúra siad an coran siarlocha. Agus béidir go mechad Kerry an a dtíúirt ar a bhar, well, bhí an a dtíúra síos a suas fan a taobhlíne agus cosúil go bheith fear na gailteachta iad an McGallte ach a Noel Kennelly an an leanúnta raig. Kenneth Lean, leis a Serkic, anna chháil ar fada san aige Derek Conroy. Bhuilte go deas aige Derek Conroy, go dtí Martin Delaney, go dtí Denny Doom, anna hans aige Denny, seo hé Denny roihisteach, anna hans aige Denny inis, an chaid bhuilte ó hápach an san go maithe Michael McCarthy, ach Serkic go dtí Multóid.
The reputation that this man has developed over the summer months is reflected in that little piece of action, because when Denny Dew got that ball, not one, not two, but three Kerry lads converged on top of him.
Mar sin dish in a huid ag Chris Conway at Junta Laois a chorchan cín. Chris Conway as an ish. Tá buachali I bhór Colleen O'Owen Finkeen and I buachali na riachta. Agus an ish Shachuin Jim Carney leis an ólas is Dianaí.
Gurmagat Vigil. Well, the news from the Kerry dugout here is that Noel Kennelly bit his tongue on the ground there, and they were very concerned about that momentarily. He bit his tongue, but he's okay. They're not worried about him anymore. Arashad Fain Vigil.
Gurmagat Jim, Martian Dashgila and son, the Jim, the Noel Kennelly, agus Bernard O'Connor, Buntishtahagashin, Ian Twist. Pachta go deasa Ian and Vaisha scored. Ian Twist Bunta go hard agus Fana Ford co-scored. And the Yimmer to Ian Twist Marty.
Ah, yes, he really is playing superbly now at right corner forward, and that's 3 points he's scored. And I'm very surprised, Micheál, that my suggestion of quite about 10 minutes ago hasn't been made, that Laois have not made an alteration to try and keep this man a little bit quiet. He's roaming. The beauty of his play is that he's not just confining himself to the corner forward position.
Martian a lot Parke, agus on Hydenson, a reached again Varkiana, Ian Twist, good Noel Kennelly. Nonansa, good Paul McCarthy, agus light to Wiganson. The vicious off the Lishin. Harkill Famine. Went to Harnash and son again, Stephen Kelly. Agus, Corrigedy, Colin Parkinson again. Rich Rasnatson, Owen Delaney, Imhewig, agus Shahan Niall Collins, agus Ian Twist, agus a reached Ian Twist, Rovaha. Harnash and son, good Pa Murphy, Pa Fevru. Wiltesteach a Lars Liga, John Lynch a Corach Stigginson, Imhewig, agus Fachta Gadasson, agus Stephen Kelly. And then Ian, Martin Delaney, Captain of Ford, agus College, Groma, Dinted, Martin Delaney and son. Agus Garrett Clifford, the unit counts on it.
Garrett Clifford is a man who can throw himself around a small bit. That's not my first time spotting him doing that.
Colin Parkinson accounts on Bull to Martin Delaney, captain of Fordney. Martin Amatlish, Noel Kennelly, the other guest up. Bull to Danny Duke, we get Shahed Danny. Anna Volcan Fed. Art score Ollie Homa. Ergesh agus at Clay agus Yanama East. Agus Michael McCarthy, Colo Shearwig. Danny Mihalashtigda. Agus Danny Matlish Gafol. Noel Nishkudi, Noel Garvin. Noel Roada at him the law of Clay agus faded a number of side of Intessa guidance on Danny Duke and not Squealy.
Yeah, I think that the tactic that Laois normally uses is feeding Danny Duke, and they in turn feed off him. But the fact that Laois are finding it hard to gather clean possession and use Duke effectively is inhibiting their performance.
Agus Shahed Niall Collins, Erin Siege, Brian McDonald. Lena Horton, goody Noel Garvin, and Padlock Park, a chance of score again, Noel. Neil Avoide, on son, Kevin Fitzpatrick, at Pachta Stig, Kenneth O'Keefe, Agus College Denta at Kenneth. Agus this Cosul go well Noel Kennelly, a lot Park in ish, Agus John Lynch, a gamer. Selina Latlasig, Martian, Noel Kennelly, and Mehamak the Law Park, Hansulach Mother, Martin Delaney.
I think that comes from the fact that Martin Delaney looks to be the most threatening midfielder in this Laois setup, particularly, as I said earlier, about going forward.
Shahe Ian Twister reached, and I think it's Fadagas, Anna Kelly, and the Hummus of Hanu. Well, to go down the stack again, as Michael D. Cahill, chance again Michael D. and pass factor. Garrett Clifford again, Michael D. Mihalashtig. Lena Horan, good John Lynch, Noel Kennelly. Cousin Tony Laois, Diana Gama, Noel Kennelly, Lisha Goleen, and Edinburgh.
This was a very good point, really, because Noel Kennelly was not fully balanced. In fact, he was stumbling backwards when he managed to get the boot to the leather and scored the point. This was a good Kerry move. They worked very hard for it. Look at the ball here when it comes out to Kennelly. Nice bit of skill, just a little bit off balance when he took his score.
Martian Kerry, Colleen Hinkeen, and a way the counts on Bull to Lena Horan again, Bernard O'Connor. Agus Fachtonson again, Liam Murphy. Liam O'Mactor Rohar and Ishka Kerry. Liam O'Mactor Ishka Foley. To the chef score. agus scór bachta ag Liam an a scór ag Liam Murphy.
I think it's fair to say, Micheál, that Kerry are scoring that little bit easier. And this, can I go back to last Sunday, the Under-21 All-Ireland final, was the difference between Cavan and Kerry. And it's epitomised again by that point by Liam Murphy. Just simplicity.
Marsin an tarna Colleen ag Liam sa chluthe go dísa agus trí cín again twist há ceanna go Noel Kennelly agus ceanna John Shockrú sníad scórana Kerry agus scórana Laois an Cólaigh Noel Garvin agus na Colleen Chris Conway agus Kevin Fitzpatrick. Danny Dew, ní hé Danny Dew got Chris Conway agus Tomás O'Shea a dhéannig súlach nádeid seo hé Chris a bóla na caide tras an choil agus kick cúlvéidir agus dahad imime siar sinna hé John Mahan imime Stechanson agus dar nó lá an a bhórar fad a John. Mar sin kick cúlvéidir agus dahad do Laois agus buirte go tappa go dtí Noel Garvin agus anna hansa cholín ag Noel se well hí cólaithe Kerry in the goal on Thompson Marty.
Yeah, I think Kerry will be annoyed with themselves over that, because that was not typical of Kerry play, as Mayo team are arriving, Micheál, into their dressing rooms.
Sha lá an a bhór fad dóibh seo agus beisiad so is súil an chréibh a thuair tír lecha Harsena siar ó don géadúid ó hús na goia go dtí agus well ná bhráile na grí é dhéanamh agus ná bhráile ha buachtain te 9 punta na mí a ní bheith sé sin roidist. Sechuin Noel Garvin agus pachta istig sa chuine an son ag Kenneth Lean serchic nóthe ag Kenneth Tomás O'Shea a thug an council. Ian twist agus Laois diantaid annach an éidir Laois aníanamh ar an ógánach sa inniu agus ag immert go maith. Liam Murphy a thug an serchic. Cúig féidir agus dahad amach an gúil agus sinna tanna le hama agus bachta go deasa Stigginson agus ceachtamach go tréan go chunta Laoise Derek Conroy amach leis go fóil Kevin Fitzpatrick léana oran ach Kenneth Clean is dasmar a gin sé sin ceann anna háchtach agus an pass go dtí John Lynch captain na fórne Parky Loughlin chléir na héidir níos túiscim líanaige Michael D. Cahill agus skipper an dalam a déidir Multoid agus mar sin Stephen Kelly Hogan Council.
Bit of a doubtful decision there, I must say, against the corner forward from Kerry.
Well, gin Danny Dew bhíar achtasan alamalóg a chur pasantóidí Kerry agus well an Multoid had a ghéanna sé caithe sé Council an áde atradir. Danny Dew agus John Shockrú agus Noel Garvin. Serki Kelly. The Kerry. Dro iarach da Pachanson. Agus Shahoon Arish, Derek Conroy. Agus Yvette Paul McCarthy ó hásta leis a Gaunson agus Laois dianta leis aige. Mar sin deis aige Laois agus le nómad nó nómad le chuis le chuid a chluig imar a mithe an scór a chóthar mú.
I think, Micheál, that Gabriel Lawler, the Laois manager, will be rather disappointed with his team's first half performance, because indeed, as we sit here, there's a rather strong breeze.
Se an ré séide go láidir ó chéim na láimh deise go chéim na láimh clé agus deisinis ige Chris Conway an scór a chóthar mú agus anna Colleen an son ige Chris Conway agus tána fórne in cóscóil an tarna ceann ige Chris.
Well, he's a good point taker, either with the breeze or against the breeze, but it certainly does help when it's a rather strong summer breeze.
Mar sin tá sé le hama an só agus na fórne I fágad na páitce agus cóid na gaotha sin bheith sí ige Kerry sa tarna lei sé I séide láidir go maith ó thaobh na láimh idirse go thaobh na láimh clé agus an scór an só ag le hama Kerry a nád a hocht Laois a héan na cúig
Half-time in the minor match then. It's been an interesting half an hour of football with those minors. We'll be discussing what we've seen with our panel after this commercial break.
Here I go, I'm drifting deep inside.
You're welcome back again to Croke Park at half-time in the minor match between Laois and Kerry, and as the cliche goes, all to play for in the second half of this one. And what was an interesting first half. The first half that we're going to discuss now with our panel here in the presentation box. We have with us this afternoon, of course, Martin Kearney of Mayo and Martin McHugh from Donegal. Martin, as I said, that was an interesting first half because the sudden goal came at the beginning, then Laois went out of it, then came back into it again.
Actually, it was quite interesting. The game opened actually with that goal from Laois that none of us here actually thought was a goal. We all thought it went over the bar initially. But then Kerry seemed to dominate the game, and in fact, I suppose went 5 points to 3 or 5 scores to 1 ahead. And I think a defining moment came halfway through the half when Colin Parkinson took it on himself to come from the number 7 position and make this mad rush up the field.
This
and
sort of David Beggy type run.
David Beggy type run where the ball's 10 yards in front of you and you're trying to go on and catch it.
Yeah.
But I think we're just looking at the moment at the goal actually that went in there, and again it seemed to be a very, very lucky one. And in fact, a moment earlier the Kerry goalie was lucky not to have conceded one when he totally misread the bounce. But just going back to it, after that run, I thought the Laois team kind of gained from that bit of inspiration, if you want to put it that way, and they improved considerably.
Well, let's have a look at that goal that we almost had a look at a minute ago there, Martin. What did you make of this?
It's just the Kerry keeper, it's the same thing that you say maybe managers will say, won the throw in, put pressure on the goalie right away, dump on the high ball, there'll be better errors. The ball before that actually bounced over his head and was a good clearance. But at that stage, you know, it was a great start for Laois, but they were completely out of the game. And after 4.5 minutes, Kerry were actually level with them. So Kerry showed great resilience. They started to win the ball around the middle of the field on the forward line. But Ian Twist, the left full forward, is roaming out the field, and he's shown how exactly a corner forward should roam. He's roaming out the field, he's there to pick up the breaks, but the good thing about it is he's on the end of the move when the ball goes back in as well. And that player like that is very hard to mark. And it's surprising, as Marty has said in the commentary, that they didn't switch some other player on him, because he's the main. The other forwards aren't really getting into it as much. He's actually picking up a lot of breaking ball in the middle of the field. Maybe put a wing half back on him, there's more used to playing around the middle of the field, and put somebody else back into the corner to do the job in there.
Sure. Okay, Martin Kearney, let's have a look at one of the Kerry scores, because they got some excellent points during this first half.
Absolutely. In particular, I think both Liam Murphy and Ian Twist have been very, as Martin already said, Ian Twist has been particularly impressive. We see this one coming here into the corner, and Michael Cahill gets the ball, cuts inside, and again puts the ball out to the midfielder John Sugru, and eventually very, very slowly it comes back to Big Noel Connelly, who struck it over beautifully with the left foot. And I must say Noel has done very well to get back into the game, because I thought early on he took a very, very heavy knock down there. Now, quite honestly, looking at it from here, I thought his jaw or his teeth or something had gone. So he got that score fairly soon afterwards and has kicked another one since. And he, to me, has been the most impressive, along with Ian Twist, in the Kerry forward line. And, you know, Martin and myself talked earlier just before the match, we didn't think there was much of a win, but it seems to have gone up considerably since the beginning of the minor match, and it will be favouring, I think, Kerry in the second half, and will be a factor, I think.
Okay, well, Martin, while all that has been happening, of course, the Mayo team and the Meath teams have been arriving here in Croke Park, and there indeed are the Mayo team, and John Mahan looking very relaxed, Martin.
Absolutely. Well, John loves this occasion and is very, very laid back about the whole thing. Looking resplendent as usual. All that's missing are the short trousers, but I'm sure they'll come in time. Well, but the team are definitely coming out here to savour the atmosphere. All the young lads there, Casey Ackney behind him, Jeremy Byrne, who's a panellist there as well. But they have rehearsed all of this. They were determined. They saw the Wexford team coming out at half-time in the minor hurling game, and they're determined to more or less emulate everything that Wexford did. And he'll be just hoping the players will soak up the atmosphere, and there's the Meath team more or less doing the same thing.
Well, of course, Martin McHugh, for Meath, not necessarily these players, but for Meath and the people behind them, they're so used to this. They've been through this before. Guys like Colin Coyle, for example.
Yeah, the people behind them, Shannon Boyle and Colin Coyle, Martin Conlon, people that have been through it. But we watched the two teams going in there. You could feel that the Meath team looked a younger team. So there's a lot of them that haven't played in an All-Ireland final at this level.
Making this point earlier,
yeah. 5 of them under 21, so that's the both teams looks very relaxed. Now, I thought watching the hurling match that the Limerick team were really fired up, and Wexford looked very relaxed. And saying that, Limerick were 4 points to 1 up, so they started better.
Sure.
So it's interesting to get it right, and it's up to the manager that John Mon, the work is done. I mean, he can't do no more really. It's up to the fellas on the field now to do it. It's important at this stage that they don't get too tensed up, because nerves can soak up your energy, and you go out in the field and your legs are like jelly. And you will hear players actually saying that after an All-Ireland final. Just my legs were like jelly, I couldn't go. And they might put it down to overtraining and everything else, but really it's the nerves, and it's being able to cope with it, and especially people behind the scenes being able to tell them how to cope with that.
OK, Martin, their moments will come later on. For the moment, it's back to the second half of this minor final. Let's rejoin Micheál O'Shea.
Gurma agat Michael agus ian twist gimmert lína Laois agus Liam Murphy me histach sa chuine agus Noel Kennelly me har nation sunda Kerry san another refshach shahun leash agus Martin Delaney Woody Owen Delaney o Fort Leisha then an Gugira ha gimmert o Fort Leisha agus Ritrasna an son Kenneth Lean agus an anach le shoot Kevin Fitzpatrick Corach agus Fachtanish ge Pam Murphy an hongracht an lína Coil agus Quintaroch ge Kenneth Fitzpatrick Mir lichte noch Maltoid. Maschen sehr kick de Kerry.
I can assure you, Micheál, having stood down at the Hill 16 goalmouth, that it is a very blinding sun. And it'll be interesting to see how the Laois goalkeeper Robert Darby does in the second half if any testing ball comes into him.
Agus Shahun Laois, agus Niall Collins, ball in the Kaiditon, agus Calais Dintel, Ryan McDonald, and son, agus Maschen. Ser kick, wordt het tapig gestart bij die Chris Conway. Hoogholien zich hier le. Full body stick. Kenneth O'Keefe, agus Council, gaffa goma hege. Prema Sheeranson, agus Cousins, Derek Conroy. Wachtige Derek, agus Derek Berteforde, niet je frisht, Ian Twisse voor dit. Calais Dinter, het Maltoid. Murphy, de Kerry. Agus Berra an sonna ag Owen Delaney. No, an chaide meheroada, beidir, meheroada leis a gaid. Agus ar histach, Brian McDonald, ha gimmert goma. Istachsan godi Chris Conway. Caundain Sherach, a Jonah Carno ige. Agus Glanamai Dintan sonna Kenneth O'Keefe an Baltas an amach godi Pam Murphy. Agus I mehe o fa, a Calais Dinta ag Owen Delaney. Tous Brever goma Marshall leis an tarna le Martin O'Connellinson agus Locht na mi agus Pat Reynolds Poma Mac le Pat vi ha gimmert Sné Pat so siad stoch agus Pat Sheensir vi ha gimmert sa Shaskedy Ser kick de Kenneth O'Keefe agus Anna Wallen Bautas again Noel Garvin It's all been Strachanson, it did. Stephen Kelly, agus. I'm after this, Owen Delaney, chance to go on. Brian McDonald, agus Owen O'Connell, Haley. Agus Shanahan, Martin Delaney, Ortans. Anna Haval, Rishtik, John Shockrow. Istachanson, agus Glantige, Owen O'Connell. John Shockrow, a Yin and Taval, agus Shahe, Colin Parkinson. Anna Scopig, Colin. Agus stop hege clóte an son reached Balta of Ornelle ige Kerry agus Noel Kennelly inish agus Elaka hege Derek Conroy Leanna Keto Garrett Clifford Micheál O'Shea After Gadasson ige Parkinson agus Amachtar Rohar an son Horrick Langton Macha Joe Lord the Portke Brian McDonald Istachanish gedi Martin Delaney, Anna Hansen is again Owen Delaney, Shanson Dahagas Anna Folene again Owen Delaney.
Well, this is a point that's worthy of an All-Ireland final, but first I'd like to compliment the Kerry defence with some wonderful blocking down, some of the great skills of Gaelic football being shown by this Kerry minor team. But full marks now to this Laois side. They've stepped up a gear since the second half started, and a great point by Owen Delaney from Port Leisha.
Marshin, Conte Laois. Pauline Chinkeen. Agus John Lynch am after Roher. Michael D. Cahill. Imihida Reimshoot, Fachtige Colin Parkinson. Derek Stephen Kelly, Reimshoot. Fachtige Thomas O'Shea. Shachet Moss, agus Anna Irachto Moss. Garrett Clifford, Michael D. Cahill, Shahe Michael D. Mahgadi Garrett. Garrett is Stachel Laois, Gadi Bernard O'Connor. Agus an passa volta go Colin again, Niall Collins. Can an hochtach de Hunta Elisha. Amach Harish de Evlini. Agus Noel Kennelly a hooking council.
Now this should be interesting because this looks like it's going to be a very high ball into the Laois defence.
Carter fada gutach. Ichi Meharuada and Baltasa. Oh, Anna Wall Gajogus. Well, we should have had Fay and Sparod to Tartala. Martin Delaney, Conte the Forne, Gimmert Gohan Sparod, Gadi Derek Conroy. Anna Lord, Anna Jayan. Anna Wall of Fartigo, Mosso Shea. Nietzsche for the Willie. Fight for the trust the Gadi Chris Conway. No orta here, Fadigan Mercher. Can Anna Einchera, Haggis, Fachtiga Atkinson, again Kenneth O'Keefe, Agasser kick the Kerry. Agus, Nadar Kaderi Hasheshi, the Queen of Nidol, Gwillich Menu, the Cadentinis, at Jan Bailan, Aha. A Queen of Edigan Chinchir, Ganana goal. And reached Martin Dilly and reached Baltus and Noel Garvin. Agus yet a Gimmert. Edaus a Tarnala, Untelisha, no Talter Fat, Stephen Kelly, Agus a kick no Hege. Come on the Mahasa Tacted, Eden Leisha, Hannah Henix a Tarnala. Agus got me a Pugnomati, Emma Foes. So had Brian McDonald. Get the getting a crave who clothed and Gino Rear. Will take us and me all. Brian McDonald on Baltuson.
Meo's cart indeed, Mihal, because certainly Laois are playing surprisingly well against the breeze. But full marks to Martin Delaney and Noel Garvin. Two of the finest catches you've seen in Croke Park all year have been produced by the Laois midfield. And very unfortunate at the end of it all that Brian McDonald hit the post.
Shagas and Nahuir, Noel Kennelly, Lord Park, John Lynch, Mathna, Selina Lechosig, Shahe John Shockrugas, Don McGarrett, Vader, T-Tap the Borg, the Kerry, Shahe Garrett Clifford, Ian Twist, Farah Huntoro, Ian the Master Staff, and Council Mehawig, Martha Gadas, and Sonic Porrick Langton. Well to trust the goodie, David O'Hara, Elmore Fada, Pam Murphy, the Guardian Order, Noel Kennelly. Noel Maclish in Isha Rohan. Anna Hola or Derek Conroy. Will to go Heschel, Goody Pam Murphy. Ian Twiss. Agus Ovidinberg Roada at him the Laois Clay. Edon McGarrett, Nagoil Tuchta, Holler de Valley, Agus Rishi Suas, Bader Gergar, Godokoch, Farna Goil Tuchta, Farna Carnegie, Ediboik. Shahe Robert Darby. Arish Derek Conroy. A Gimmert Fitzrain. Agus a Gimmert Kuma. Mosso Shea. A cousin Kuma in the devil on board. Garrett Clifford. And we have wig. Agus Arish Derek Conroy. And the Flaha Gimmert together. Martin Delaney. Brian McDonald. Brian, Ono Connolly there against up. Brian a Maclish go forward. Anna Roharige Brian nach Drochich no in Eden way.
Well, Brian has produced some lovely, skillful football because he did everything right here, much to the annoyance, I'm sure, of this man, Charlie Nelligan. But good defending by Owen O'Connell, the Kerry number 4. But Brian McDonald's finishing not quite reaching the target.
Kenneth O'Keefe, Joe Lord Portke, Agus a Rish, Dianov Edaus at Fad, Anna Watson, Brian McDonald, Buttiga, Blue to get Chris Conway, Anna Hanser score again, Chris, Buttiga, Agus Buttiga, Crane, Agus good Thomas, Agus Puntalage, Misa Hiakin.
This is not just a good point by Chris Conway, it's a bit of a classic because in terms of not alone the accuracy, but the way he hit the ball. If you watch it very slowly, you can see the angle he took and the way he just glanced it off the boot, and it curled sufficiently enough to go over the bar.
Agus Edon McGarrett to tap the board, the Eden Kerry. Agus Beshe the Gimmerts the Tussahe. agus cosúil go bheith John Lynch captain na fórne a dul I dro an taobh líne. Ó réna hena leanna ard bbliana ag a siúd agus ábhíonn dímách a láthar na huaide ach ard chluí imreige a runna bliana do Kerry agus don Glasgow Choma. Se hé Niall Collins. Agus Laois agus héad a cread na caide. Agus Brian McDonald a ríist. Coimar tiasig a Laois agus se hé Derek Conroy an leis sé siúd scór. Derek amach leis, Derek ar a dalamh an chaid me hehuig. Winte go agus íon twist hir an sanna meas na gosan tóidí na Kerry ach drohireacht steach a Laois Niall Collins. Húgéidir agus dahad. Winte trasnaige agus Martin Delaney sérchic do chunta Laois. Laois an uachtar an is sa tarna le gan éana go an aig na gaoithe iad a gimmert an a bha.
I saw this Laois midfield combining very well in their Leinster Championship campaign. That's Martin Delaney and Noel Garvin. I was surprised with their poor performance in the first half, but they've certainly stepped it up, and as a result, Kerry are finding it difficult to get a grasp on this game at the moment.
Dis mar sin ag a cúnta Laois chól glán a chur idir a thénig agus Kerry. Ó drohireacht apach ó Chris Conway ní bheith sé róhásta le sin.
No, that could be a crucial miss actually, because they needed that little bit of breathing space. Still 2 points between the teams, and that would have at least given them a bit of confidence.
Mar sin suas le éon am díag an tarna le I mithe. Agus cúnta Laois agus iad a buchtint. Iad rómhad a Kerry Samayr. Gus cosúil. Brian McDonald agus sérchic eile gnóthaithe meachtasteach. Agus mar sin deisinis ag a cúnta Laois ghol cúlchan cí.
Yes, Brian McDonald has become much more prominent in this second half and beginning to pose problems for Owen O'Connell. Now this free would really want to be put over the bar, because if they miss this one, remember they are playing against the breeze, it would be a severe blow to Laois.
Stephen Kelly a hoping counter. Seachtain na díag Laois a han parsa. Báiste na Laois. Winte go lána agus an a chól ar fad a trena go Laois agus a ríiste an tógáach san Brian McDonald léana oran.
Well, I said a moment ago he was causing problems, but this is one of the best goals you're likely to see in Laois, and the Armagh County are beginning to celebrate. This would do any corner forward a reputation that would last him a lifetime. A goal with a difference. Watch this. Stephen Kelly, I thought that it was going to be a bad miss. He dived Brian McDonald and it found the net.
Mar sin cumann am a hasa teachtar Laois a ducha Kerry ar eis. Sin íon ceiste agus sethe Liam Murphy agus sérchic gnóthaithe. Winte go tapaige. Agus Emiheo Jarrett Clifford agus Michael D agus Druchrí á choraige Eric Ganson. Ceanna bhí tastáil go dúirte ó Kerry.
I think it should be pointed out, because we have been singing the praises of Mark Delaney and Noel Garvin, and I'm sure that Gabriel Lawler and his Laois selectors Brian Delaney and Oliver Phelan must also be complimented on the choosing of Derek Conroy at centre-back, because when Laois were in trouble in the first half, it was Derek Conroy that was going forward that was posing the problems for Kerry.
Sehe Martin Delaney an Fadlach Park agus Kerry gwartathe sínte ar a dalamh John Shuffrú na Rina Orde agus Martin Delaney ar a dalamh Choma. Mar sin Martin ar Heva Bháin agus John Shuffrú ar a bhile agus capar an immert a stad a stoppis heag seall chuin cór leiise chorora. Agus mar sin anna díile Kevin Lynch ar techt ar a bháid a Kerry ó gánach séimlíon a díag Laois ó lean Kerry duine gosna duine is óige ar a banéal ag a Kerry. Agus deisilegan an sa sár chól Laois a dhiiscint an chaid buite go híise agus a mecht léana choran an san go clúirte frad Brian McDonald á Harrachéin agus a bóla na chaide léana choran íseal isteach an líontá. John Shuffrú a há buirtethe agus Well, Neil Kevin Lynch take a bod gefólín tá sé meachtar eis ríist agus John Shockrú tí leanúnta raig agus Saorchick Laois builte go híisiil ansa agus fachta gón Delaney. Colm Parkinson Hallward a bhile Colm Shelif na caide Cawn mór ád builtige agus Kevin Fitzpatrick a córug Wicht más ó sé ád a bhóid a mach go Dion O'Connell agus seo Ian Twist agus Ian amach a ruachar agus tu go an talón san Chris Conway.
It's funny really, Micheál, the way teams play so well sometimes against the breeze, better against the breeze because of the style of football that they've been coached in.
Well, ní lean áras ná bhfuil sé sin fíor ní bháinna leanna minúid a chaile glór das na fórna sin sin chomá le blianta beag an uas ní hála go bhíh fadó. Se Niall Collins go dtí Brian McDonald an meiscaí náir lána choimar Dana Luisiacht agus gcué seolta chunta líise a láhan na bhfuil beidir tí giad mhóraia Kevin Fitzpatrick a meachtasteach go tréin Kevin go fólín an na hóla fat fachtan sanige ó fámor fí táchar dá bhile an haidir eisiacha agus seo Chris Conway agus Eric Ihal a córach Builteisteachchan go dtí Owen Delaney an eisinis go dtí Martin Delaney anna eisiau go Martin Laois Diampleson a gach más ó sé Martin Delaney agus well Garrett Clifford is stigin son agus well they get as a slí dianta cúpla minúid.
I think Garrett Clifford is guilty here, to be perfectly honest, because when the Laois men went down, just see what happens with Garrett Clifford, because down goes Delaney. Now just keep an eye, there's what angered the Laois players, and I think they've every reason to be incensed at that.
Marsin, Captain Laois, Martin Delaney, Edith Olive, agus in immert statathe chun cór Laois a chorir. Laois rám diantar, agus beidir go meach Kevin Lynch tí tacht a báid se tá Kevin Lynch a dtíran takeithe a báid agus inis an ón linn chútsa a Jim Carney.
Well, Kerry are concerned about the injury to John Sugrue. They feel he's not able to continue, and they've got Martin Beckett in for him, and Kevin Lynch is standing by as well. And I can tell you, indeed, Micheál, that Laois are warming up a number of substitutes as well. So Martin Beckett and Kevin Lynch on standby for Kerry, and John Sugrue can't continue. And indeed, he has just come to the sideline. So John Sugrue off for Kerry.
Agus John Shockrú mar a deireann tú gur míl maith go a Jim I méiad an barc agus Martin Beckett take heisteach a báid ina áit. Agus gimmart a stig sa chuoine ach Saorchick de chunta Laoise agus Stephen Kelly a hócaigh an counsa. Stephen Kelly agus chunta Laoise chuirlín Eric an cín agus Marsin Coman a mahasa an Laoise a láthar na huide ó há chóil far a spáide chu a láthar na huide.
And just about 13 minutes to go before Laois celebrate their first All-Ireland minor title. 2 goals now Kerry need to level.
Gimmert Salina lechúil a láslí in isise ha Martin Beckett agus más ó sé I méid amach go lá páidce. Agus amach na rúthar dóibh Pamor fé an a chóngracht an dóibh líne isteach go dtí Liam Murphy I méid bhuiig siúd agus fachta go glóteige Noel Garvan a Laois diantaige I dtí moltóid.
Brian White is right here, there's no doubt about it that the Kerryman was illegally charged after he delivered the pass to a colleague, and I think Brian White was perfectly correct.
Marsin deisige Liam Murphy an bhearna a leidú go dtí Cuculini. Drohireacht ó Liam Murphy agus ní mónásásta a bheith sé le sin.
And I think with that free missed, I think Kerry's chances are taking a very rapid nosedive at the moment.
Marsin déineomatí fácha agus cumann amachasa chunta Laoise ní lean áras an éair ná go bíad an nuidir na sfearriad sa tarna le agus go méidir gur leo hiteach choran Cuoine Cháin Tony Maher a orthe ag John Hyland. Dan na midóid is fearr seo Garrett Clifford. Dhearach slí ganam da hen, Dhearach Kerry húta eis. Áhol Chandérig Édan McCannell na gáilteachta a mecht leis a Róthar agus Édan tugadh an talón a circic buite Róthar paige an son agus well ní raibh Kerry chaile is nú leis a Ganson agus mar sin seachún Laois agus gwe an a seolta agus an farsa Haréine an a séan bhfuilte I Joe an taobh líne go dtí Brian McDonald agus Martin Beckett a córach Pa Murphy Martin and son agus seo Édan McCannell Eis go dtí Michael McCarthy Beckett an ón an is go dtí Paul McCarthy Ceann mór fada ard Bernard O'Connor agus an gheachant leis Colin Parkinson Colin Rovaga Ceann an a hochtach na chunta Laoise Noel Garvin agus Tomás O'Shea Mechtaisteach Paul McCarthy Noel Kennelly Noel agus Calais Dentel agus mar sin Saorcic de Kerry.
Well, you often hear the basis of any good team is a good half-back line, and I think Niall Collins, and as I've praised already Derek Conroy, as well as Colin Parkinson, have a very formidable half-back line. And Parkinson is not alone a good wing-back going forward, he's able to defend as well. And I think in that just earlier sequence, you would have to give full marks to Colin Parkinson.
Martin, Kenneth Clifford, Ceann an a hochtach de Kerry. Wiltigason, Haite Míleváid agus Buirteiste Ahaváid ar Fada Stigginson. Cadar ben Niall Collins a gine, Anna Haváid agus seo Colin Parkinson. The cousin Toily, Gimmert announced, Anna cousin to Fadiga Leishinson.
I think the All-Ireland title is Laois after that because it just would not go in for Kerry. He was literally on the line, not once but twice. Just look at this again. As the ball came in, the Laois defence, for the first time, really got into a tangle. Kerryman had it here, just barely kept out, then it came back in again. This should have been in the net, but Martin Delaney was there. Good defending.
Kerry meachta Róthar, Tomás O'Shea, Anna Róthar a dieta gael a hands again, twist a Cole again, Ian twist. Anna pass o Tomás O'Shea, Anna Róthar, agus an ish, ní náwn nach an Cole of
Well, you never really should say that Kerry are beat until the final whistle. I think Ian Twist and the Kingdom boys are proving it. This is a beautiful goal, and if any man deserved to score a goal in the All-Ireland final, it's Ian Twist, and he finished it superbly.
Martin, Kerry, Cúlháin Chandérig agus Gwe Seolta Laoise, le Tamalín agus an Ducha Gaharú sin, an Vanna Siad Chancín, Seachún Liam Murphy, Anna Hansige Liam, Ceann mór ard agus Anna Cholín agus an ish ní náwn nach Cholín.
Wonderful character now being shown by this Kerry team, because just moments ago they looked beaten. There were 2 goals down. They've now reduced it to 2 points.
Agus Eis Chútsa a ríis to Jim Carney.
Kevin Lynch is finally ready to come in for Kerry. The boy going off is Michael G. Cahill, top of the right. Cahill off, Lynch on, Shinny on scale Bihil on Tiblina.
Gurmacha got the Jim agus a chluhéidir Ceann na mea, Cholín Chandérig a Kerry láthar na huide. Téistó bheith sé Cholín iacha. Wed sin gháil san éar a got agus sinné Noel Garvin. Har nais go dtí Derek Conroy, a machanis go dtí Colin Parkinson agus seachúin chunta Laoise. A dí ar a cur leis a dá Cholín sin, Pa Murphy a cosint go maithan de Kerry. Gareth Clifford agus Derek Conroy. Agus fachtaige Colin Parkinson. An ón go dtí Niall Collins, Seohé Niall, is Brála Niall dul a Róthar agus Seohé Niall. Ian Twist a dí ar a gist up. Niall a meach leis go fóil. Túna sin gist goal. Niall Collins a dí Ian Twist a dí ar a gist up. Agus a pass á bháiltaige Noel Kennelly agus Seohé Beckett, Martin Beckett. Meachta Róthar a tunnadaí hána gur a báid. Agus an cór Laois achar hálar a da bhile, chuine go imiróí Laoise a dtíorn. An imirta leanúnta daig. An chaidan son ag Bernard O'Connor, an ón an ish go dtí Liam Murphy. Liam is decha John Holbáid a sára ag an efiseach ag Robert Darby a beidir go séiteach an moltóide a dóig mar tá duine gas na himiróí gortathe ar a dálamh agus cór Laois acharid. Se an adóg séite is ag an moltóid a fiscaige agus a cór Laois achar ar dhuine go imiróí Laoise hall ar a bhile an báid. Another a bit Derek Conroy and Laois. Then you go Laois Hunter Laois.
Well, if he had to depart, Micheál, it would be a major blow, because he really, I know he plays with the Rock Club in the County of Laois, but he really is the rock on this Laois team. This is the incident again as he went up for it. Seemed to get a facial injury just there in that collision.
Gan bwch gymeidir gyda'r Braini'n ffol y lish, a stolym gymysio yn on, lanwn ti'r aig. Beder na fiacol o gorste hyn. Marsin, caig yn moltwyd, yn chaid yn ordi, y ddefsag yn boed. Wel, y dyn mwyr gyda Martin Delaney, y mehem afle hyn. Ni cap'n sé hyn gwrdd. Siahed pa Murphy. Bwol na caid ystach gyda Garrett Clifford. Dŵr y seffi a sgôr, ni gynnig Ian Twist. Ian Twist, cawn mwr o'r, agos y wylsi iawn, sian i'n awn i'n cholini boen. Col agos Kerry Colini gyda ag yn o gonach sa Ian Twist. O'r chlohe fad imrygau.
Great point by Ian Twist. Laois have not actually devised any plan to cope with Ian Twist, and I think they could well pay for that decision. Here he is, great point, reducing Laois's lead to just 1.
Kevin Lynch, Shamley on the deal, Dish, Didach Taka hit a board, because the counts and put to go again, Whiteley and Murphy counts up, Nidolim Gavai. Well, Tashi stop with Higadas again, Shahe, Bernard O'Connor. A Mahkadi, Garrett Clifford, Giddy Noel Kennelly. A Mahkadish staff. Bernard O'Connor, a Derek Heide Council, Cosum Toady Laois, Colin Parkinson, Slown ahead, Agus went to go hard, Agus went to Roada, and him the Laois edition, El Chaperon. Kevin Lynch, Roada, and him the Laois edition. Agus Charlie Nelligan, agus Derek Sprague Hurtoi, Derek and Sparade Hurtoi, Hasigan Apachena Colleen, and Dediganish, not in the router, Shea Colini, and Derek Tavolino him. Shahid Laois, Robert Darby. A Derek at Hit Count River, Walter, North Kennelly, Lennox Count More all, as Anna Colleen Costco, again, North Kennelly.
A magnificent point, Micheál, and certainly Noel Kennelly. I'm sure Dad Tim will be very proud of that one, because that was a beauty. But full marks to this Kerry team, because really they've lost so many of their first choice players. They've shown character, skill, tremendous determination, above all else a belief in themselves.
Siachwn Laois ag siachwn Noel Garvin, y sielif na caidig ys ond chlwyd y gog iawn na meo inis, doedd irif ond lasar stafarach. Agus gan mo goen y atar agus Brian MacDonald, y gymr dyd aws ar ffat, yn caws yn bwynt ag ymachig. Agus siafau Owen Delaney, an hans ag Owen. Y machta Stachanson, agus pic Anton, y dochwnt a Laois agus desig a Laois, y tan y le ffyr ied yn y hymra, wel timpole, o'n omat ffoca, yd hol chwlin chyn.
Well, this is a point that they badly need, but this score, if it does eventually go over the bar, was made by tremendous intelligent play by Martin Delaney, because he was the one who flicked it back to Owen Delaney to earn the free.
Shahe Stephen Kelly, count on the hochtach or father. Count the spot the bit of that dog share we have on the hill. Stephen Kelly went to get in the goal, and the holy in the Honda and it's Laois, Colleen Kinkin. Team play on over. Well, Cadê Marcelo Evan Avegako, Mob Winshit, Danny Duke, was a hot torch to hit a hole in the Lord Podcast. Shahe Danny Duke. Will take a shin. Nilane and son of Kerry, Michael McCarthy, and Maniakus, Polish Dent go on Delaney. Will take a topic again. Mega Donald McGarrett, topic of Rohit. Nive, and halfway to the Hudson. Derek Conroy, dyn nhw fath o loch, da wedi get hwnt a leisio. A chydro hi ar afto Derek, a beth yw'r cymryd ysgol, gwyn i'r ffogyn eisiau achos le nom at o foen.
Well, his anticipation here was brilliant. He read that ball perfectly. But I think Derek will never make it as a full forward or a wing forward somehow. But he's a great centre back.
Well, Nilian Aurus Marialda Shinean is Rayan. Shahe reached the back to Jonah Kaidik. Agus, Partig am Abiga. Martin Stephenson, Martin Delaney. Well, on the hoimer, Derek Conrad, Martin Delaney, well, ma one Laois, Beshiad Boychton Merchin, agus Beshiad Boycht of Ryan McDonald Homa.
Yeah, Derek Conroy really, he's won 2 of the most valuable balls in this All-Ireland final, and he won it in a manly sort of a combat. So if they do win, I think they'll point to those 2 balls that Derek Conroy won as the turning point.
Shahid Stephen Kelly. And hands to get Brian McDonald. Well to get Brian, that is on the Holeen. Brian McDonald. Way up to score all the puntilation. And Farrell with a soft hole. And it's an ish. Laois may have all Holeen Hankeen.
Well, equally, when Laois went down, they fought back brilliantly. And Brian McDonald has given them a little bit of breathing space.
And the split is father Shahid O'Kennelly. And the splits of Arsachoma. Danny Duke. Agus Peshe Dierrigan, Immer de Well Loonish, Peshe Dierrigan, Heinrich Meod, agus Ehud Lesh, Stachanish, Goody, Chris Conway. Kevin Fitzpatrick, and I know Kevin, but to get Kevin, agus on the hole, agus Sinead. And right, Vian and Oak Shade to get Multoing. Agus on the Yimok and Padlishin. V. College Denton, agus capture of action for Torste at Nivuin.
Well, I must say I'd be a little bit critical of Brian White here because he blew very, very late. He only blew when the boot went flying here and when the ball was on its way. It's a harsh decision, but it still goes Laois's way.
Tá cumann am hasar Laois, tá siad Hocholín Chancéin agus Shahid Chris Conway. Agus beidir go bhfuil corm tá Markham a dhéann lí go dtí cúnta Laoise mar tá nómad le chuis lehuid a chlig imar a mithe. Tá é mar cheiliúra a bheith ann más ála go bhíon. Chris Conway as an ish, tá Giacolini after him. Anna Giacolini as a céile ag a Laois teistú bheith head post goal.
Well, they did it the hard way, Mihal, the Laois boys.
Agus Shahid Derek Conroy, duine gosna leichrad ábhaile cog, agus fiach mar a hashe mechta Staulish, but goody Danny Duke, we hirta gamara Danny Duke, count more ord. Agus Brian McDonald reached, amach goody Martin Delaney. Brian McDonald. Winter go hopach a get Moss O'Shea, a Sinead, untaction, did to get Punta Laois, then Giano and Riam. Craig Manour the head in Puerto, then Giano and Riam. Kademar Kenura again Punta Laois.
Great day for the county of Laois, Mihal. Their first All-Ireland title ever in this grade, and only the second for the county. They won the Junior All-Ireland in 1972, and the Laois people, who have produced so many good footballers over the years, have finally got something to celebrate. And I think we should compliment their arch-rivals from last year, Westmeath. There was a titanic struggle with Westmeath, who did wonderful things by winning the All-Ireland minor title. But when Laois saw that Westmeath went on to lift the #1 trophy, I think they were motivated right throughout January and February. So congratulations, Laois. It can only be great for Gaelic football.
Shagadain ortas pontas a fada go say a mo trílte go maithe and that we cumar ar fach seall go muhadis go napische chana Kerry a reis chormid ar a scór a chan son behidaig le conta Laois a reis agus Shahid an captain Martin Delaney agus Emi Jesus agus cógádagus a dhéanamh go Jack Bootman leis agus again Diarmuid ó Clúváin chomha céanna or daspug chaisiil agus Emily agus Patrón an chumain agus Miseálaad go bheith tínte ná go rábach ar fuid Laoise tra honna nocht agus canna heb ná beh.
Agus go táir go léir. Tá an sára é siúla a héide I nuach ar fud Ileán an Éir. Tá an gríon a tainam go léigeal is a líana le híomhnas an tír. Tá an gríon a tainam níos léigeile I gúnta Laoise ná in éon chunta eile. Mar de fóig chuireann minúr Laoise trithe cenis le héireann don céad ó riamh. Fógádas de Laois. The Yinshib Air. The Yinshib Star. Amach an Sainio. Bafalum Tres Nuo Cree Le Fidden Minur Laoise. Bafalum Covroni Enav Le Fidden Kerry Atakri Frishtuk Filahan Nahura Ak Bishid Arash. they were on the go sport oil, fat oil, go Dean, agus go Mock Trace Liam, Live Arain, agus Tommy Gulier Fear Week, than da as an Clehe, Vra, Sport Tool, a Kirshi der Fall doing it all. Is Lair, Gur Haniv, on Boisha, let took a hen, after took a do, Quanteha. Marshin, took a shit hen of her Kimshagum, Con Hamash Barkham, of Gunna, Martin Delaney, Captain Forna Leash, Maho, Martin.
Nach a géir tíiste i gáiltó á dasput caiisiil agus imilig éarla ba chumann an dochtú Diarmaid ó Clúbháin agus Sehe Martin.
An air éisbach, Uachtar an Cumann Lucas Gale agus an Winter an Leash. Is mór dó an honor an current shot a Gluckú san Foreign Cundé Leash. Reverend Bishop, President of GA, people of Laois, it's a great honour for me to accept this cup on behalf of Laois miners. This has been a great year for us, and on this occasion we have many people to thank. Our county board and our officers, our main sponsor, Tom Tracy, who must be a proud man today. Our supporters club for being the financial heart of the team. A job well done. To all our supporters here today, those who are here, those who could not attend, and those proud Laois people watching abroad, we would all like to say thanks. We'd all like to say thanks. So, get out your flags, your headbands, everything, because we're coming home with the Tommy McEnany Cup Monday night. I'd like to thank our restorer, Aidan McFall, and Dr. Keating for keeping our bodies in tip-top shape. There's 3 men that manage this team. Ollie Phelan and Brian Delaney are selectors. Our manager, Gabriel Lawler. A great ambassador to the team. He put his heart and soul into this team. And we must have over 60 training sessions, and he was a joy to work with. Thanks a lot, Gabriel. This is for you. Finally, I'd like to thank the Kerry team. They get great gusto to come back, and they get great gusto to come back. So I think it's about time that us win All Ireland title. They won 20, so it's about time we won 1. 3 cheers for Kerry. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
Well, 12 months ago, it was the miners of Westmeath who were here at Croke Park celebrating a famous victory in the All-Ireland final. On their way to that All-Ireland final, they had beaten this Laois team only after 2 replays. Laois felt that they were going to come back again and that they were going to claim the All-Ireland, and they have achieved that today. And as they celebrate their first ever All-Ireland win, we take a commercial break. Please do stay with us.
County teams. For when the body says ouch, Contour Pack, the ice blue pouch.
As the minor team of Laois was being congratulated and saluted by the supporters of Laois, of course, themselves, also of Meath and indeed of Mayo, all congratulating this Laois minor team on their success. Martin Carney, it's been a great occasion for them.
Great occasion, and one that we didn't expect at half-time. I must congratulate Laois first of all, and also congratulate Gabriel Lawler for the way that he managed to get the team regrouped at half-time and come out and play so well in the second half. I thought the displays in the second half of Derek Conroy, Chris Conway, Delaney and Garvin at midfield, and Brian McDonald in the corner forward position really swung the game. They played with great commitment. In fact, they monopolised the play so much that it was 21 minutes before Kerry actually scored, and they deserve all credit for it.
OK, well, Martin, just at the moment on Taoiseach, John Bruton is being introduced to the crowd here at Croke Park. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, on Taoiseach, a Meath man, Martin McHugh, going back again to the minor match. That first Laois goal happened very early on in the game. That turned out to be the difference between the sides in the end.
Yeah, and ended up to both Kerry will be kicking themselves out, and the keeper will probably be very disappointed with it. But as we said, you know, some of the teams tried to do, won the throw and pumped early ball into the full back line, hopefully you get a break of it. And we see it here. Like, actually, the ball had bounced over his head before this and was well cleared by the defence. They done well, Laois. Brian McDonald in the corner, who had a great match. And I think even at half-time what they done, they started playing more ball into his corner, made a big difference. Here comes back to the midfielder, Noel Garvin, and outside the boot, going for a point. And probably it showed that maybe the bit of luck was with Laois on the day, and maybe he should have knocked it over the bar, that ball coming in. Yeah. It's a great start, and the end up, that was what was between the teams. But Laois showed great character, Michael, the second half when Kerry came back level. He showed great character to come back at them, and that was really when they won the game. That's character that wins matches, and there are a lot of these Laois players, they hold on to them, and a lot of minors don't fall away and don't be there maybe on the 21 level. They have to look after them. You had Westmeath last year, you had Laois this year. For long enough, Dublin and Meath have been dominating Leinster. It's good to see other teams coming up.
Both teams, Martin Carney, showed an awful lot of character in this match. Kerry were down by 6 points at one stage and they fought back. But that second Laois goal was just as important as the first one, as it turned out, of course.
Very much so. At the time, actually, as I said, Laois had been monopolising the game, and in fact the free kick that was taken here was very poorly struck. But Brian McDonald, in the true instincts of a corner forward, threw himself at the ball and just deflected it into the corner. It's a wonderful piece of opportunism by Brian McDonald, who to my mind deserves great credit, given the fact that he's the youngest player in the team. But I think overall the contribution from the centre half back and the midfield during the second half was a real bedrock for winning that game.
Laois winning this minor this year, Westmeath winning it last year. It will mean an awful lot to both counties in terms of the future.
Absolutely, and as Martin has already said, maybe the balance of power may shift in another generation, because for too long now, like in the early 70s, it was Offaly monopolising football. Then Dublin came and then Meath have come, and really there hasn't been a genuine contender outside Meath and Dublin since the early 70s. And to see the likes of Laois and Westmeath winning Leinster titles and subsequently All-Ireland titles should give great hope for any team in Leinster.
Must also remember, Martin McHugh, that Laois had a goal disallowed towards the end of the match. Now, as it turned out, it didn't matter. They got a point out of it in the end. Mind you, if they were 2 points down at that stage, they would be pretty sore about this one. Yeah,
well, it'd be very interesting if they were 2 points down, whether the referee would have blown it or not. He gave the free for the free. We talk about advantage rule or not, is it allowed or not, but he was inside here and he took it very well. We see he actually lost his boot. He took it very well to goal. But in the end, in the situation was in, the point was as good as a goal, but he took it very well, again kept the ball down. It's a good Laois team. As we said before, they showed great character. I think Brian McDonald, at half-time they said they get more ball in that corner. Kerry lost their two midfielders, one was taken off, the other off injured during the second half. So they showed great character to come back. But at least hold on to them players. I think there's a lot of them that we'll see in the future. But taking that goal, even of Brian McDonald's, great bit of opportunity. Ball off the post, that's the same kind of thinking. If you watch the Kerry backs, they're all waiting for the ball to go over the bar. It's great. I mean, that goal in the end have won the match for them, and that lad is a great future, saying that he's only 16 years of age.
Sure. Brian White, Martin Carney did the right thing in that occasion, because there is no advantage rule in Gaelic games. Should there be? I mean, he could have let this go, except that's not in the rules.
Well, honestly, I believe myself, when the ball goes through like that and you get inside a forward, and even though you have been fouled, you should be given the benefit of the doubt as long as possible. I know there's no advantage written into the rules, but I thought the lad was clear that time. If the scenario had been that Laois were 2 points down, 2 minutes to go, and had that goal disallowed, it could have been a killer blow to them. Sure. But okay, thankfully from a Laois point of view, everything worked out well. But I think myself that the GA should look at maybe incorporating into the rule book some form of advantage rule.
The solution might be for the referee to take a very, very big breath before blowing the whistle at the occasion.
Absolutely, you're a good feed of birdseed.
Martin McHugh, in a moment, the 1971-72